What if your money isn't as stable as you think it is? Pause for a moment. Feel that question. Not as fear, not as panic, but as awareness. Because as we move through January 26th, 2026, there is a quiet but undeniable tremor moving beneath the surface of the material world. You may have felt it already. Unexpected expenses, sudden opportunities, a shift in how you think about work, a subtle restlessness when it comes to your income. That is not random. That is not personal failure. That is Uranus moving through Taurus. Welcome back to Celestial Insight. Breathe with me. The universe runs on structure and timing. Nothing arrives without a season. And this season is about transformation in the realm of security. Let's begin with Uranus. Uranus is not gentle. It is the awakener, the disruptor, the lightning strike in a clear sky. When Uranus moves through an area of life, it does not ask for permission. It liberates. It destabilizes what has grown rigid. It breaks what has become stagnant. Uranus rules innovation, rebellion, technology, breakthroughs, and sudden change. It governs the future before the future feels comfortable. Now understand Taurus. Taurus is Earth. Taurus is stability. It rules money, assets, possessions, land, comfort, and the deep human need for security. Taurus builds slowly. It trusts what can be touched. It values consistency, savings accounts, steady income, predictable growth. So what happens when the planet of sudden disruption moves through the sign of stability? The ground shifts, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. This is why you may feel financially unsettled, even if nothing dramatic has happened. The old rules are loosening. Traditional paths feel less certain. Systems that once promised safety now feel conditional. And if you're honest, part of you senses that the definition of wealth itself is changing. This transit is not a headline. It is a long wave. Uranus moves slowly. It reshapes foundations over years, not days, which means this is not about a quick gain or a sudden crash. It is about reprogramming how humanity understands value. And you right now are standing in the middle of that reprogramming. You might be asking yourself, why does my career feel unstable? Why am I reconsidering my investments? Why am I questioning what I truly want to own, build, or hold on to? Because Uranus in Taurus is testing attachment, not to punish you, but to free you. If you have been clinging to something purely because it feels safe, this transit will expose that. If you have undervalued your talents, Uranus will disrupt your comfort until you demand more. If you have relied entirely on external systems for security, Uranus will whisper, build internal security instead. This is not chaos. It is recalibration. Look at the collective. Technology reshaping banking. Digital currencies challenging traditional finance. Entire industries transforming. The speed of change feels faster than the human nervous system prefers. And yet, beneath that speed, there is structure. Uranus breaks what cannot sustain the future. You may feel both excited and anxious at the same time. That emotional duality is natural. Taurus wants calm. Uranus wants movement. So inside you, there may be a tension between holding on and leaping forward. This phase is not about reckless action. It is about conscious awareness. The universe is not watching how fast you move. It is watching how you respond. Are you reacting from fear or adapting from wisdom? Because here is the deeper truth. Uranus in Taurus is not here to make you poor. It is here to make you sovereign. The old model of security said, stay small, stay consistent, stay safe. But the new frequency says, stay adaptable, stay innovative, stay aligned. There is a difference. You may notice sudden ideas about new income streams, a desire to invest differently, an urge to simplify your possessions, or even a realization that wealth is not only financial. That is Uranian awakening inside Taurus territory. And let me ground this for you. This is not about chasing trends. It is not about panic selling or impulsive investing. In fact, this phase isn't about action. It's about restraint, observing, listening, noticing where the ground feels unstable, and asking why. What is being tested right now is your definition of security. Is it numbers in a bank account? Is it approval from others? Is it a job title? Or is it your adaptability, your skills, your ability to create value anywhere you stand? Taurus builds slowly. Uranus innovates suddenly. Together they are asking you to build something new that can survive disruption. That might mean diversifying your income. It might mean learning about emerging financial systems. It might mean finally monetizing a skill you've hidden. It might also mean reducing unnecessary consumption and redefining abundance. You are not behind. You are in transition. And transitions feel uncomfortable because the old structure dissolves before the new one fully forms. If you've been feeling financially restless, you are not alone. If you've been sensing that traditional stability no longer guarantees peace, you are not imagining it. If you've had unexpected financial shifts, positive or challenging, understand that Uranus often delivers both awakening and opportunity in the same breath. The key is awareness, not urgency. As we move deeper into 2026, this energy intensifies not as chaos, but as clarity. The illusion of permanent stability dissolves so that resilient stability can emerge. And here is the prophetic insight for this chapter. Do not cling to what feels familiar if it no longer feels aligned. But do not jump blindly toward what feels exciting without grounding it first. Balance innovation with patience. Because Uranus rewards authenticity, and Taurus rewards endurance. You are being invited to build a financial life that is not dependent on one source, one system, or one identity. That is not instability. That is evolution. Take a breath. The tremor you feel is not destruction. It is renovation. And in the next chapter, we will go deeper into how this energy may be showing up in your bank account, your investments, and your daily income right now. Stay with me. This moment will make sense later. Let's go deeper. You felt the tremor. Now let's talk about where it's actually showing up. Because Uranus in Taurus does not stay theoretical. It becomes practical very quickly. It touches your income, your expenses, your investments, your sense of worth. And as we move through early 2026, many of you are noticing something undeniable. Money feels different. Some of you have experienced unexpected inflows, a sudden opportunity, A side project that started as an experiment but is now generating real income. A new client appearing at the right time. A skill you didn't think was valuable suddenly being in demand. Others have experienced the opposite. Surprise expenses, shifts in job stability, investments fluctuating more than expected. A feeling that what used to feel solid is now unpredictable. This is not random. Uranus operates through surprise. Taurus governs finances. When they merge, money becomes the awakening tool. You may be thinking, why now? Because the universe works in cycles, and this cycle is about breaking financial autopilot. For years, many people operated under inherited beliefs. Get the job, save the money, buy the house, repeat the pattern. But Uranus in Taurus is questioning that script. It's not saying stability is wrong. It's asking whether your version of stability is outdated. And here is where the emotional mirror comes in. You might feel slightly uneasy when checking your accounts. Not because something is wrong, but because you no longer fully trust the system. You might feel drawn to unconventional investments, but unsure whether to take the leap. You might feel both cautious and curious at the same time. That duality is exactly what this transit creates. Unexpected income and outflows. Let's speak plainly. Uranus can bring sudden gains, but it can also bring sudden expenses. The purpose is not punishment. It is awareness. If money leaves your life quickly during this transit, ask yourself, what structure was too rigid? Where were you overly attached? What lesson is being highlighted about preparation or diversification? If money enters your life suddenly, ask yourself, are you prepared to manage expansion? Or will excitement lead to impulsive decisions? Uranus tests your nervous system around money, not your intelligence, not your worth. Your nervous system. Can you stay calm when numbers fluctuate? Can you remain grounded when opportunity appears? Can you avoid panic when unpredictability surfaces? This phase isn't about dramatic moves. It's about regulation. The universe is watching how you respond, not how fast you react. Investing in the unconventional. You may notice that traditional investments feel less inspiring. There is a growing curiosity about alternative assets, digital finance, technology-driven markets, innovative startups, sustainable ventures. This is Uranus speaking. But here is the wisdom. Curiosity does not equal recklessness. Uranus rules innovation. Taurus demands practicality. So the lesson is integration. Explore, yes. Research deeply, yes. But do not gamble your security on excitement alone. If you've been feeling drawn to unconventional opportunities, ask yourself, does this align with my long-term stability? Or am I chasing adrenaline? Because during this transit, the difference matters. Some of you may feel the urge to leave stable careers to pursue independent paths. The gig economy, freelancing, remote ventures, digital entrepreneurship. This is part of the collective shift. Income generation is becoming fluid. But fluid does not mean unstable if managed consciously. The key is building multiple streams rather than relying on a single pillar. Uranus dislikes dependency. Taurus prefers sustainability. Together they are encouraging diversified resilience. The value revolution. Now we reach the deeper layer. This transit is not just about money. It is about worth. What do you value? What do you believe you deserve? What talents have you undervalued because they felt ordinary to you? Uranus disrupts external systems. Taurus governs self-worth. So when this transit activates your chart, you may realize you've been undercharging, under-earning, or underestimating your capabilities. You may feel an internal rebellion rising, a quiet voice saying, "I am worth more than this." That voice is not ego, it is alignment. But here's the caution. Do not confuse worth with comparison. Social media will amplify extremes. Stories of overnight wealth, massive gains, dramatic losses. Uranus loves spectacle. Your path will be quieter. Your transformation will likely be subtle but powerful. A contract renegotiated, a new skill monetized, a shift in spending habits, a realization that consumption does not equal security. Taurus loves comfort. Uranus questions excess. You may find yourself decluttering financially, reducing subscriptions, selling unused assets, simplifying your material life. That is not scarcity. That is refinement. The question being asked in 2026 is this: what truly makes you feel secure? Is it accumulation or is it adaptability? Because the old model said security equals possession. The new model says security equals capability. Capability to learn, capability to pivot, capability to innovate, capability to stay calm in uncertainty. You are not being asked to abandon stability. You are being asked to upgrade it. And here is the prophetic insight for this chapter. Avoid extremes. Avoid panic selling. Avoid impulsive buying. Avoid making financial decisions purely from fear or euphoria. This phase isn't about action. It's about discernment. Let others react wildly. You remain steady. The universe is restructuring financial landscapes globally, but your personal transformation depends on self-trust. When you strengthen that no market fluctuation can destabilize your core. As we continue into the next chapter, we will explore the broader financial revolution unfolding around you: decentralized systems, ethical investing, new business models, and why this is not just about survival, but evolution. Stay grounded. Stay observant. The shaking is purposeful, and you are learning how to stand stronger because of it. Look around you carefully. The financial world you were taught to trust is no longer the only one that exists. And whether you realize it or not, you are already participating in a quiet revolution. As we move deeper into 2026, Uranus in Taurus is not just influencing your personal bank account. It is reshaping entire economic systems, slowly, structurally, irreversibly. The universe does not rush transformation, but it does insist on it. Uranus rules technology. Taurus rules money. When these two forces merge, innovation enters the vault. This is why decentralized finance continues to rise. This is why digital currencies, blockchain ecosystems, tokenized assets, and alternative ownership models have not disappeared. They are not trends. They are symptoms of a larger shift. Now breathe with me. This is not about hype. It is not about chasing every new coin or platform. Uranus energy can create excitement that feels electric, but electricity must be grounded. And Taurus reminds us to move carefully. The deeper question is not, should I invest in this specific thing? The deeper question is, why is the concept of money itself evolving? For centuries, financial systems were centralized. Authority determined value. Institutions dictated trust. But Uranus disrupts centralized control. It favors networks over hierarchies, transparency over secrecy, independence over dependency. You may feel this shift internally, a desire to understand where your money is actually stored, how it moves, who controls it, what backs it. That curiosity is alignment with the transit. But here is the wisdom. Do not confuse awareness with urgency. The universe is not asking you to become a financial revolutionary overnight. It is asking you to become informed. Decentralized finance and digital assets. Let's speak plainly. Digital finance is not disappearing. It is evolving. Some projects will fail. Some systems will collapse. That is part of Uranus energy. Sudden rises, sudden corrections, sudden reinventions. This is why restraint matters. If you are drawn toward alternative financial ecosystems, your task is research, not reaction. Education, not impulse. Build understanding slowly. Taurus rewards patience. And remember this, the purpose of innovation is empowerment, not speculation. If you enter new financial territory purely from fear of missing out, you will feel unstable. But if you enter from knowledge and long-term vision, you build resilience. Sustainable and ethical investing. There is another quieter revolution happening under this transit. People are asking not just how much will this return, but what does this support? Taurus rules values. Uranus modernizes them. So we see growing interest in sustainable investing, ethical businesses, environmentally conscious ventures, socially responsible portfolios. This is not accidental. The definition of wealth is expanding. You may feel less interested in profits that feel disconnected from purpose. You may question industries you once supported. You may feel drawn toward investments aligned with your principles. That is not weakness. That is evolution. But again, balance is key. Do not let ideology override practicality. Taurus insists on stability. Uranus insists on progress. True alignment blends both. The gig economy and fluid income. Now let's talk about income itself. The traditional model said one career, one employer, one pension, one predictable path. Uranus in Taurus says diversification. More people are creating multiple streams of income. Freelancing, consulting, remote work, digital products, creative monetization, micro businesses, flexible contracts. You may feel a growing desire for independence, or perhaps you already have stepped into more flexible work structures. Even if you haven't changed careers, you may be reconsidering how dependent you are on a single source. This is not about abandoning security. It is about expanding it. When income flows from multiple directions, disruption in one area does not collapse the whole structure. That is Uranian resilience built on Taurian stability. But here is the caution. Do not overwhelm yourself by trying to build everything at once. This phase isn't about action. It's about strategic expansion. You might feel pressure to do more. Resist that pressure. Build slowly, layer by layer. Let your nervous system adjust to change rather than forcing transformation. Emotional mirror. Be honest with yourself. Does the speed of financial change feel exciting or exhausting? Do you sometimes feel behind? Like everyone else understands the new system except you? That feeling is common under this transit. When systems evolve quickly, comparison increases. But comparison is not clarity. You are not meant to master every new trend. You are meant to understand your position within the evolving landscape. Your financial path will not look identical to anyone else's. Uranus breaks conformity. Taurus builds individuality through tangible skill. So instead of asking, "What is everyone else doing?" ask, "What aligns with my skills, my values, my long-term stability?" Prophetic guidance. What is being tested right now is discernment. Can you tell the difference between innovation and illusion? Can you recognize sustainable growth versus temporary hype? Can you move steadily while others rush chaotically? The universe is observing your relationship with volatility. If you chase every surge, you will feel drained. If you hide from every change, you will feel stagnant. The middle path is awareness with patience. And here is what is quietly aligning. Systems that prioritize transparency, adaptability, and authenticity are gaining momentum. Financial models built on manipulation and opacity are under pressure. You do not need to predict every outcome. You need to strengthen your foundation. Learn, observe, diversify wisely. Stay grounded. Because this revolution is not ending tomorrow. Uranus moves slowly. This is a long arc transformation. And in the next chapter, we will turn inward again. Because navigating this shift is not only about markets and trends, it is about psychological resilience, practical strategy, personal sovereignty. The world is evolving, but you are not powerless within it. You are being prepared. Stay with me. Now we become practical, because awareness without application creates anxiety, and Uranus in Taurus does not reward anxiety. It rewards adaptability grounded in calm action. If you've been feeling the financial tremors of 2026, this chapter is where we anchor you. The universe may be restructuring systems, but you still have agency. You still have choice. And most importantly, you still have the power to respond wisely. The first strategy is simple, but not easy. Embrace flexibility. Taurus loves fixed plans, 5-year projections, predictable outcomes, a clear map. But Uranus introduces detours, not to sabotage you, but to strengthen you. If your financial plan is so rigid that it cannot bend, it will break under pressure. Flexibility does not mean instability. It means readiness. Ask yourself right now, if my primary income shifted tomorrow, do I have a secondary option? If one investment slowed down, would my entire structure collapse? If an unexpected expense arrived, would I panic or pivot? This is not about fear. This is preparation. Many of you are realizing that relying on one source of income feels heavier than it used to. That awareness is not paranoia. It is evolution. The collective economy is becoming more fluid. The individuals who thrive are not the fastest. They are the most adaptable. This phase isn't about dramatic action. It's about quiet restructuring. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You don't need to liquidate assets impulsively. You don't need to chase every new opportunity. Instead, you begin small. Build an additional skill. Explore a side income. Strengthen an emergency reserve. Reduce unnecessary liabilities. Slow adjustments. Strong foundation. Diversify and innovate. Uranus does not like stagnation. If your financial life has been on autopilot, you may feel restless right now. That restlessness is information. It's asking, where can you innovate responsibly? Diversification is not just about investments. It's about capability. What skills do you have that are undervalued? What knowledge could become income? What network connections have you neglected? Taurus rules tangible resources. Sometimes your greatest resource is not money, it is skill, experience, credibility, or trust. You may discover that resilience in 2026 comes less from stock performance and more from personal capability. Invest in learning. Invest in upgrading your expertise. Invest in tools that increase efficiency. These are stable forms of wealth in a rapidly evolving landscape. But here is the caution. Innovation without grounding becomes chaos. If you feel the urge to make a large financial leap purely because you are bored or frustrated, pause. Uranus energy can feel electric, but electricity must move through stable wiring. Taurus is the wiring. The universe is watching how you respond, not how quickly you move. Re-evaluate your definition of security. This is where the inner work begins. What truly makes you feel safe? A number? A title? Ownership? Status? Or is it competence? Freedom? Low debt? Adaptability? Uranus in Taurus is not just testing your assets. It is testing your attachment to symbols. You may feel called to simplify, downsize, pay off debts, reduce lifestyle inflation. That is not regression. That is strategic recalibration. Taurus can accumulate endlessly, but Uranus asks, at what cost? If your expenses own you, you are not secure. If your identity depends entirely on income level, you are vulnerable to fluctuation. True financial resilience is psychological before it is mathematical. And here is the emotional mirror. Some of you are exhausted, not because you lack money, but because you feel like you are constantly chasing stability. The pace of economic change feels relentless. The headlines feel loud. The uncertainty feels heavy. Take a breath. This phase is not about winning. It is about stabilizing your nervous system. You do not need to outperform the market. You need to outperform your fear. Prophetic insight. What is being tested right now is patience. You are being asked to resist extremes. Do not overexpand during a surge. Do not shrink in panic during contraction. Do not compare your timeline to someone else's visible success. This is a season of measured movement. The universe is observing your discipline. Can you build quietly while others react dramatically? Can you conserve energy when the world feels volatile? Can you commit to long-term growth instead of short-term validation? Because here is what is quietly aligning beneath the surface. Sustainable systems are strengthening. Skills that cannot be automated are increasing in value. Practical knowledge is becoming more powerful than speculative hype. If you cultivate patience, you will recognize opportunity earlier than most. And understand this clearly, Uranus does not only disrupt, it liberates. Many of you will look back at this period and realize It pushed you to become more financially conscious than ever before. You may finally budget intentionally. You may finally invest wisely instead of emotionally. You may finally build multiple income channels instead of relying on one. Disruption is forcing awareness. Awareness builds sovereignty. This phase isn't about reckless expansion. It's about intelligent structure. And as we move into the final chapter, we will look beyond the tremors and into the long-term transformation. Because this transit is not just shaking your money. It is reshaping your relationship with power, independence, and self-worth for years to come. Stay steady. You are not falling behind. You are being refined. Now we step back and look at the larger arc. Because Uranus in Taurus is not a moment. It is a movement. As we stand here on January 26th, 2026, you are not just navigating temporary fluctuations. You are living through the early architecture of a new financial era. And whether you resist it or align with it will determine how empowered you feel in the years ahead. The old financial paradigm promised permanence. Stay loyal. Stay consistent. Stay predictable. In return, you would receive security. But the cracks in that promise have been visible for some time. Institutions shift. Industries evolve. Technology outpaces tradition. And now, under Uranus and Taurus, the illusion of permanence is dissolving completely. This is not collapse. It is recalibration. The long-term impact over the next several years, wealth will be defined less by accumulation and more by adaptability. The people who thrive will not necessarily be the ones who started with the most. They will be the ones who adjusted intelligently. Think about that carefully. We are entering an era where digital skill, flexible thinking, diversified income, ethical awareness, and technological literacy matter as much as traditional capital. Taurus governs material wealth. Uranus modernizes how that wealth is generated and protected. This means your financial future is not locked. It is fluid. And fluid does not mean unstable. It means responsive. You may already feel this shift inside you. A growing desire for autonomy. A deeper awareness of where your money flows. A resistance to systems that feel opaque or outdated. That is not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. That is evolution seeking integrity. But here is the wisdom. Evolution requires discipline, personal empowerment. You are not powerless in this transition. In fact, this transit can empower you more than any stable period ever could. Why? Because disruption forces awareness, and awareness leads to control. Many of you are thinking more strategically about money now than you did 5 years ago. You are researching. You are questioning. You are analyzing risk. You are considering multiple income sources. That is growth. But empowerment requires emotional maturity. If you allow fear to dominate your decisions, you will feel constantly reactive. If you allow excitement to dominate, you will feel impulsive. The middle path is sovereignty. Sovereignty means you make financial decisions based on alignment, not pressure. You save because it strengthens you, not because you are afraid. You invest because you understand the landscape, not because you are chasing a headline. You spend intentionally, not emotionally. Uranus in Taurus is teaching you independence. But independence does not mean isolation. It means self-trust, the opportunity and disruption. Here is the truth most people will not say clearly. Disruption creates openings. When industries shift, new leaders emerge. When systems modernize, new innovators rise. When outdated models dissolve, new frameworks form. You are not witnessing chaos. You are witnessing transition. The question is not, will the financial world change? It already is. The question is, will you change with it? Some of you will build businesses during this era that would not have been possible under older structures. Some of you will discover income streams that align more authentically with who you are. Some of you will free yourselves from financial habits that kept you dependent, but only if you remain conscious. This phase isn't about action, it's about refinement. You refine your spending. You refine your investments. You refine your skills. You refine your definition of wealth. What is being tested now is your attachment to outdated security. What should be avoided is reactionary decision-making. What is quietly aligning is a more transparent, diversified, and conscious financial ecosystem. You do not need to master every new technology. You do not need to predict every market shift. You need to strengthen your foundation so that when opportunity appears, you are ready. And here is something deeper. Taurus governs self-worth. If you believe you are capable of creating value, you will always recover from fluctuation. If you doubt your value, even abundance will feel temporary. So the most powerful investment during this transit is competence. Learn continuously. Upgrade steadily. Build patiently. The universe is not punishing you with instability. It is training you for resilience. And resilience is more valuable than comfort. Closing guidance as we move further into 2026. Do not measure your progress by comparison. Measure it by clarity. Are you more aware than you were last year? Are you more disciplined? More intentional? More diversified? If the answer is yes, you are aligned. Remember, Uranus does not destroy stability for pleasure. It removes false stability, so authentic stability can emerge. Taurus ensures that what survives this transit will be stronger, smarter, and more sustainable. So if things feel uncertain, breathe. If opportunities feel unfamiliar, research before reacting. If fear surfaces, ground yourself in preparation. This moment is not about panic. It is about positioning. Position yourself through knowledge. Position yourself through diversification. Position yourself through self-trust. Because years from now, you may look back at this period and realize it was the exact moment your financial awareness matured. The tremors were not your downfall. They were your awakening. Stay steady. Stay conscious. Stay adaptable. And if this message resonated, if you feel the shift happening in your own life right now, subscribe to Celestial Insight and walk this transformation with us. Share this with someone who needs clarity in uncertain times. The universe moves with precision, and this moment will make sense later.